Two e-commerce giants, two powerful platforms, WooCommerce versus PrestaShop. Which one really delivers? On the left, WooCommerce, the most popular WordPress e-commerce plugin. And on the right, PrestaShop, the complete standalone open-source e-commerce CMS. Let's skip the buzzwords and get to the real stuff. Each category earns points, and at the end, you'll see exactly who comes out on top. The result might not be what you expect. Okay, just so you can see what's coming up, here's our agenda. We're comparing these platforms on popularity, price, customizability and extensions, e-commerce features, ease of use, scalability, and security. Yup, it's a lot, but this way, you'll know exactly what matters for your store. Let's kick things off with popularity, always a biggie, right? So, WooCommerce first. It has, wait for it, over 6 million active websites. Seriously, that's huge. Plus, there's this massive global community and tons of online resources, which is great if you ever get stuck or want to find quick tutorials. But I will say, it does rely heavily on the WordPress ecosystem, meaning if you're not into WordPress, you might feel a bit boxed in. Now, PrestaShop, it's got a pretty strong presence in France and Spain, and it's super popular with multilingual, especially European merchants. But the user base is definitely smaller, and if you want true global reach, it's not quite at WooCommerce's level. So yeah, for sheer popularity, WooCommerce's got the edge here. Next up, let's talk price. WooCommerce is known for being wallet-friendly. Theme and plugin costs typically start at around $20 a year. Of course, if you go nuts on premium plugins, those costs can creep up, but generally it's not too bad. PrestaShop, on the other hand, is totally free to install, which sounds awesome, right? But here's the catch. Premium modules and themes can get pricey, like starting from $79 a year, and honestly, you'll often need third-party add-ons just for basic features. So even though it's open source, the costs can stack up. So yep, WooCommerce wins out on pricing for most folks. Alright, now customizability and extensions. This is where things get interesting. WooCommerce is basically swimming in choices. We're talking almost 59,000 WordPress plugins plus around 800 specialized WooCommerce extensions. You want a modern theme? Tons of those too. The one little wrinkle is that you might run into compatibility issues with certain WordPress themes, which, can be frustrating. PrestaShop, meanwhile, has about 3,000 modules, not bad, and plenty of templates if you want a unique look for your store, but in pure numbers, it's just behind WooCommerce. So again, WooCommerce takes it by a nose. Oh, and here's something cool. Did you know WooCommerce actually started as a fork of Gigashop way back in 2011? Fast forward to today, and it powers almost a quarter of all online stores on the planet. That's like the definition of a glow-up. Moving on to e-commerce features, WooCommerce shines with seamless integration into WordPress. So if you love blogging or making content, this is your jam. Product management is super easy. Same with managing orders and inventory. Now, full-blown multi-store, you'll need an extra plugin though. PrestaShop, on the flip side, comes with advanced product attributes baked right in, which is kinda cool. You get native multi-store support, so if you want to run different shops from one dashboard, boom, done. Plus, it has more complex catalog options, so it's awesome for B2B downside. There's a slightly steeper learning curve, but hey, for advanced features that's pretty normal. In this category, honestly, I'd call it a tie. Both are super strong, just depends what you're after. Ease of use now, and this one's pretty important, right? WooCommerce uses the familiar WordPress environment, which means if you've built a blog or a site before, you'll slip in like you never left. Tons of clear documentation, heaps of community help, nice. But you do need some WordPress know-how to get the most out of it. On the other hand, PrestaShop gives you a standalone, all-in-one dashboard, which in theory should be easy. But the interface can feel a bit clunky if you're new. So honestly, WooCommerce is more beginner-friendly and takes the win here. Okay, let's talk scalability. WooCommerce is pretty flexible, works for tiny shops and big enterprise stores alike, especially since you can pile on plugins to extend what it does. One thing though, if your store gets super huge and complex, you may need some dev help, especially on custom stuff. PrestaShop scales really well, especially awesome for medium to larger stores. But if you go crazy with customization, you'll probably need a developer in your corner. Still, WooCommerce is just a bit more extendable overall, so it squeaks ahead here. And now, security. WooCommerce gets regular updates thanks to the WordPress security team, which is good. But here's the thing, your store's security kinda depends on following WordPress best practices, so if you skip that part you could be asking for trouble. PrestaShop, on the other side, is PCI compliant out of the box if you use the open source version, and there's a bunch of strong security modules available. Still, you gotta stay updated and keep an eye on your modules for any vulnerabilities. I'd have to say, PrestaShop actually wins here for security. Alright, let's quickly look at the radar chart, see how each platform stacks up across all the categories. If you're visual like me, this is where things get super clear. So, if you're already working with WordPress and you want tons of flexibility and plugins, WooCommerce is kind of a no-brainer. But if you're setting up a store for international audiences and need those advanced catalog and multi-store features out of the box, PrestaShop might be your new best friend. It really comes down to what feels right for your business. Want more e-commerce insights? Stay tuned because I've got loads more comparisons and tips coming your way.